Pantry, and today we are canning black beans. You guys asked for this and I'm here to deliver. Black beans are, well, any bean actually is one of the easiest things you can can. And I do a very simple application. I literally do the dry beans that I've rinsed here, and I've rinsed these beans off. This is a 3/4 cup measuring cup, and I'll leave you a link. 3/4 of a cup. I measure 8 jars because I believe that's what this will hold. These are 1.5 pint jars. We're gonna treat them as if they're quart jars though in the timing process. So, you know, I've done this video several times, or at least a couple of times, and all of you still requested that we do a canning video today. So, and I get it, because I watch videos that I know how to can that stuff, but I like it, and sometimes I pick up a tip or pick up something that maybe I hadn't thought about, and I hadn't. I thought I had a paper towel for wiping the rim of my jar. There's not much chance of anything getting on there, but we'll make sure. So this is my Himalayan pink salt. You don't want to add any iodized salt, I will say that. And I'm using heaping half a teaspoon, but I'm gonna load my jar with the rinsed beans. So for a 1.5 pint jar, you're gonna need 3/4 of a cup of dry beans. I'm gonna put my salt right on top of the beans and then fill the jar with water and make all kinds of noise. Anyway, and I use these for salad. I rinse them off. I always rinse, but the salt does season the beans perfectly. And this is one of the only times I actually use salt in my canning, just because I think you get a better result. It's really hard to get them salted correctly after the canning process, so we still need a little bit more water. And you want an inch of headspace. And we don't have to debubble because, well, we don't have to debubble. It's a magnetic wand, and these are all wide mouth. I have my flats in hot water. I bring it up to a simmer and shut it off, and that's just its habit, and I have very little fail rate. So fingertip tight, and there you go. It's going in the canner. The canner is at 180 degrees. You want hot jars, hot water, and so you don't thermal shock your jars, and there we go. All right, guys, I'll bring you in close and do a little speed canning for you. Okay guys, so my canner is venting. There's steam coming out. I mean, it's a steady stream of steam coming out of the pitcock. You want to make sure before you use your canner that you check and make sure the hole is cleared, because that's going to determine how well it jiggles your weight. I will be canning this at 10 pounds of pressure on the weight and 11 pounds on the dial gauge. And actually, to get this to rock 3 to 4 times a minute, it comes up to about 245 degrees. So over 10 pounds, probably at 12 pounds is what it rocks at. And that's just where that's where it's calibrated for this altitude. And as long as I know that this is moving, I know it's moving the 10-pound weight and it's not going too fast, yeah, it's good to go. So as soon as I've got 5 more minutes to vent, I'll put my 10-pound weight on. It's going to come up to pressure as soon as I hear this go, Then I'll adjust my heat down. It goes down to about a medium low, and it'll rock steady the whole 90 minutes. And I just stay in here. I'm gonna be outside treating my table outside and puttering around the kitchen for the next, you know. You've got to plan on a minimum of 3 to 3.5 hours for a canning session like this, unfortunately. But it's so worth it to have those on your shelf. All right, so I'll be back. Okay guys, so I am ready to take this out of the canner. I've opened up the canner and let it rest for 10 minutes. I actually let this come down very slowly. I don't rush anything because it's not worth it. It is true that if you left your canner closed for an extended period of time, it can lock down and you might have issues getting it undone. But I've never had that problem. And I don't leave it, like I would never leave it overnight. Look at this. So the beans are up, about, well, you can see, they're about right up in here. Still plenty of liquid, and they actually will keep expanding, and tomorrow morning I will, after they've settled, I will go ahead and shake them up and kind of disperse the liquid. But my liquid my water in the canner is perfectly clear because I do not rush anything. I want my headspace to stay perfect. So that's how you get that perfect headspace. Don't rush it. Don't rush it getting it out of the canner. And I used to be so guilty of that. And I don't tip my jars, as I've said in other videos, because that flat is still, until it seals, it's still venting. And you can actually push liquid and debris under your lid. Now, I think it's really hard to disrupt a seal that wants to seal. That's my opinion. I've canned stuff that had so much fat in it, and the jars were greasy, and they all seal. I've canned fat, chicken fat, and they all seal. So, but I don't rush this, so it's not venting out and getting rid of what's in the jar. So I have 8 1.5 pint jars of black beans for my pantry shelf, which is absolutely fantastic. I hope this inspires you to try your hand at home canning. As I always say, check with a reputable source, either online or get yourself a bulk canning book. Or, there's several books out there, but I refer back to the bulk canning books. Bernardin book is another good one, which is the same company. Basically, you're going to get the same information. And, yep, clear water in the canner is always good. And I'm excited. I have shared these beans, and I got nothing but ranting and raving of how delicious they were compared to what they bought in the grocery store in a can. So there you go. All right, I'm gonna get a picture of these, and tomorrow morning I will take the rings off, wash my jars, and go ahead and label them, the month and year that I canned them, and that they're black beans, and I don't have to put anything else. So guys, I can't wait to see you next time for another canning session. A delicious recipe using some of these beans, and as always, I can't wait to see you next time for another fabulous recipe or canning session. Or yeah, ooh, we have some field trips coming up. If you guys want to go on a vlogging field trip, let me know in the comments section, or what you want to see me can next. Keep in mind, it's just me.